So for a while now, I had this idea that I want to create my own deck of cards, not just any deck. This would be some sort of mythology creation of my own, something that would consist of items and creatures and things that happened, that didn't happen, dreams, or anything that essentially depicts some sort of meaning that I have in my head. And last week we started this project, so we did the first few cards. And if you haven't seen it, you're more than welcome to check out those. Otherwise, this is how they look like. And the idea for today is to do the next 3 additions to the deck. And I think a good place to start is a little story behind the first card. So let's begin. So this one time I had a situation where I had to relocate to a temporary home for about half a year. And this was like kind of a rundown Airbnb of sorts, but essentially it was placed in a pretty good location, but just the building was really run down. At some point I had to do laundry, and there was no laundry machine in the actual flat. So naturally I called the landlord to basically figure out where am I supposed to do laundry. And it kind of points out to this, you know, a very easy 5-step program where essentially you go outside, you go take a left, and you'll find another building next to this building. There's going to be a smaller passage, but take the door on the left. And you know, you go through this door and you're faced with this most creepiest basement entrance ever for yourself. And it doesn't stop there, of course. Like, you need to go 3 floors down, and you're going through what feels like an eternity, and there's all these doors that you open and they lead into nothing. It's kind of like collapsed entrance passages till finally you get to the laundry room, and it's this eerie room where it just felt so off the whole time. You know, the light was very dim, and there's basically a washing machine and it was broken. So naturally this left quite a imprint on my mind, and lives in my memories quite remembering. And I wanted to recreate this sort of washing machine, like kind of have this household item that kind of depicts that feeling. So I went on Sketchfab, I got a few finished designs for washing machines and kind of bathroom tiles, and I started assembling kind of a reference for myself that kind of depicts that room. And you know, looking back, it was not that big of a deal. It's just like the fact that you don't understand how often you do laundry once you're spoiled to have your own laundry machine. I started off like usual doing my initial sketch. I had a reference ready. I wasn't going to follow it completely because I still wanted to kind of depict that washing machine that I had in that weird laundry room. I'm using acrylic paints again, and I just tape up the piece of paper to some slightly thicker paper so it doesn't move around. I wanted to use a specific color palette, so the dominant color is gray here. And you have this one light source which essentially creates this, or helps to create this eerie feeling of that room. Additionally, I also tried using acrylic pens. I kind of enjoy having like small details added with these pens because I can get more precision, and I hope that in the future I learn to use the brushes a lot better, so this way I can have those details also laid out as I want them. And the final challenge was to depict this water running, right? Like, so one thing is, of course, like I don't really know how to draw water, so this is still a learning experience to learn acrylics in the process. But the other thing was that, of course, the washing machine was broken. Like, otherwise it would have been way too easy just to go into this weird basement every time you need to do laundry, go on the street with your laundry basket. Final notes, I found a pretty good hack how to remove tape from your paintings. And apparently if you blow dry it a little before removing it, or you blow dry it as you remove it, it comes off a lot easier. So this was the first card, and eerie laundry room with broken washing machine. Let's jump into the next one. Have you ever had sleep paralysis? It's a very nasty feeling. And yes, if you're thinking, I did create that reference photo myself. So these are my hands, and it was a very awkward position to be in, like kind of like this, and then go in front of the camera to create it. But I wanted to make my own reference. And this is a story of this one morning where I wake up at 4 o'clock, or I guess I should say I'm not waking up, because I open my eyes and I can't move. And basically I'm stuck in this weirdest position ever because that time I had my hand up like this, like kind of like lying on my bed, and it felt like somebody is pulling on my finger. And if you ever had sleep paralysis before, you do see these beings, and I saw this giant dark figure in front of me, and it felt like this figure was pulling my finger. And I remember thinking to myself like, damn, that was definitely not a microdose. No, but jokes aside, I was completely sober, but it was a very shocking experience. And I think for the first time ever, I had an experience where I was not only unable to move, but also had one of my body parts completely hanging in the air by itself. So this was the sleep paralysis hold my finger edition. So last but not least, symbols of abundance. And I found this quite interesting fact. You might be wondering, or have you ever wondered, why do people like flowers, and why do people like having paintings of floral arrangements? And you know, why does it even bring joy? So apparently, just looking at flowers, and it's sometimes enough to be looking at flowers at paintings, there is an effect in your brain that happens. So they done these MRI scans where they look at activations in different parts of your brain. So the same feelings that you have when you are expressing love, when you're feeling joy, when you're listening to music and you really like the song, similar feelings trigger the same parts in your brain when you're looking at floral arrangements or flowers in general. And I found it quite interesting. It kind of made sense in my head immediately that this is how, you know, you get these good emotions when you look at flowers. Additionally, looking at flowers and these type of paintings lowers your cortisol levels. So technically, when you're stressed, you produce cortisol, and this is the counterpart where you're learning to relax, basically, just looking at it. So that was the idea and inspiration behind this painting. I did actually buy the bouquet, so I used the reference of my own. And I picked a really weird angle to draw it, but it was quite interesting because it was like looking from top down, and I wanted to use a blue background to kind of symbolize this harmony and to kind of depict this calmness with the flowers and the effect that it gives. I think what's interesting about this set of 3 cards in particular is that they have a very specific slot in my memory. Now, memory is a thing that, of course, either distorts things in your favor and sometimes not in your favor. So you tend to remember the good things a bit better and the bad things a bit worse. And I don't look back at these with any emotions of anger or resentment, rather just remembering and how much you can actually relive what happened before when you're trying to put everything into this one piece of art, or maybe this one small painting is a better word for it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will be coming up with new episodes. I'll see what I can come up with next. I have a few ideas of a few more projects that I want to start, but if you're enjoying this, please do hit subscribe button. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.